Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to listen up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Well, I know you're glad, Ryan, to get me out of the house. It was a good visit, but it was it was definitely time for me to hit the road, huh? I knew you were like, Phil, get the heck out of here. And I heard the door slam shut, right? It was a fun night last night. I'm not gonna lie. Fun night, fun day yesterday, right? Although I didn't get any wins like I wanted, but especially what mattered most up in UConn Nation. They did not come away with the win, Ryan. But some news to go over. Kind of, this is the last check in, right? We want to inform them. We want to thank our friends down at Middletown Sportsland for just believing in us, Ryan. So we want to reach out to them and thank them. This episode is brought to you by Middletown Sportsland. We want to thank them for reaching out and getting us up off of our feet, Ryan, when we started this. So thank you, and we love you guys. Subscribe, like the video. One like, each like goes a very long way. This is the last check-in before the game on what, Ryan, Wednesday?
Wednesday night, yeah.
All right, Wednesday night. Before we get into that, we have some news. We want to get your all's thoughts, and we want to definitely hear from Ryan. Geno Auriemma, Ryan, listen to this. Geno Auriemma focused on making UConn better, not the NCAA tourney. And I thought that was very interesting, considering how long he's been around, right? Following number 11, and credit Myron Metcalf, thank him for bringing this article out and this news to us. Following number 11, UConn's 83-65 loss, Ryan, it says at number 1, South Carolina on Sunday, Coach Geno Auriemma said he's focused on helping his shorthanded team improve, not the NCAA tournament. That's not all, Ryan. Auriemma, who has won 11 national championships during his tenure, has faced an unprecedented wave of injuries this season. Last month, as we're aware, Ryan, Aubrey Griffin sustained a season-ending injury. 4 other UConn players have had season-ending injuries this season too, including star Azzi Fudd, and junior Caroline Ducharme hasn't been available since November because of back and neck issues. All right. Again, thank this writer for bringing us this news. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, obviously. Ryan, what do you get out of this? Because I know as just as well as I did, you were like, Phil, I think it's a good idea if we go over this news and tie it together with the last check-in. I guess a big question to you, a legendary coach has been around so long. My 2 cents, it was pretty darn amazing, to be honest with you, not to sugarcoat anything, right? Pretty darn amazing for a coach that's been around so long. Because in my own opinion, veteran coaches or rookie coaches, new coaches in the country currently right now, right? Women's college basketball, let's just focus on that for a second. I don't know, Ryan, how many coaches would have the nerve and the strength to come out and say something like this if they
Yeah.
were in this kind of situation that Geno is in right now.
Yeah, and he also said about, how the freshmen have stepped up this season and continued to improve every single week. And Gino also said about the 7 players that played yesterday, and that's really all they have. Those
Mm-hmm.
7 are going to be the ones to lead this team, to as far as they can go pretty much for this season. So my opinion on these comments, I completely agree with Gino. To me, he's not saying he doesn't really care about winning championships or making a run in March Madness. He just wants to focus. He wants the team to focus on the present and how they can continue to get better every single day. And by doing that, I guess the hope is that it will propel the team to the top. And with all the injuries again this season, it's forced not only KK Arnold, but Ashlyn Shade as well to step up into an unexpected role into the starting lineup. But it's also forced Caden Samuels and Ice Brady to get a lot more minutes, a lot more opportunities than probably what was expected out of them as well. Which, in the long run, I think it's going to be great for the team. Their confidence level for the rookies or the freshmen this season be sophomores next year. So just imagine those 4 players when they are sophomores next year in their second season. And I think that's what Geno's trying to get at. We can be excited for the future, but also continue to get better in the present as well.
All right. And what do you think of Paige Beckers? It seems like I bring up this name all the time to you, Ryan. Because it goes on to say that Paige Beckers and Edwards both had 20 points as they tried to stop South Carolina, right? According to this great ESPN article. In front of a sold out crowd. Shout out to the South Carolina crowd for showing up, right? At Colonial Life Arena. Auriemma mentioned the team connected on 36.6% of its field goal attempts. He mentioned about Beckers. He added that Beckers is logging significant minutes, but noted that she's rarely offered a chance to recover.
And I think we've talked about that a little bit through the comments section, and I've said about how Paige maybe needs to be a little aggressive, but I think also there's some points where maybe she could get fed the ball more often. So I think it kind of goes both ways sometimes in the game, but I think Paige is doing a good job, but I think obviously we expect a little bit more out of her since she is a superstar, in the women's game. So I think obviously she's been doing a good job this season coming off the injury, but with how many injuries UConn has had again this season, I think maybe we expect her to step up a little bit more for this team. But again, on the other side of that, I think Paige Beckers and Aaliyah Edwards could also use a little more help, especially in yesterday's game, as Aaliyah and Paige were really the only two players who could really get anything going for UConn.
Yeah, how do I explain it? Help me explain this, Ryan. My part of this is well, we figured on the actual thumbnail picture today. Credit you for that. But we wanted to title it, and the actual thumbnail picture. We wanted some text on there for various reasons to switch it up. For our subs and for everyone watching this. Again, we appreciate everyone and we love you all, but Ryan, we wanted to make sure that we put our foot out, our best point out there, and to explain when we say that Geno, right? Geno not focused on championships, not in a smart kind of way, right? Right, Ryan? We wanted to bring up a hot topic, a discussion right now. And I don't know if I'm explaining this right. Tell me what you think. I think that it is Geno is that much more greater in my eyes now. I already have respect. He's one of the greatest ever, right? If not the greatest coach to ever coach basketball. I just think that my respect for him went that much more high because we're not saying it like all right, well, he's not worried about winning at all anymore. It's not that. It's not that, right? Focus. And what did I tell you in the last check-in against South Carolina? It's focusing on the future, developing these players. I told you, did I not say, tell me if I'm wrong. I said, Ryan, if this was 2 or 3 years in the making, I would feel a lot more confident going against South Carolina. Right? I'd said that, Ryan. And then this article drops. But my point to you is he is taking he's holding his self accountable for what has happened this season, even though he doesn't have to. Does he have to? Ryan, you mentioned the injuries. Who can control that?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, nobody. I wish we could control them so we would be able to prevent them, but unfortunately, we can't. But I
Yeah.
think something Gino has said, I guess since he arrived in UConn was to obviously build a dynasty, which I guess is everybody's goal. But I think building a culture is definitely something that Gino has done over the years at UConn. But he's always wanted to get all these players that he recruits and brings to UConn ready for the next level. And I think to him, that's more important than winning championships, is getting them, ready for the next level, to, wherever they choose to be, either in the WNBA or somewhere else. But I think that's always been a little bit more important to Gino. All the championships are nice, but I think first and foremost, he really wants all of his players to get the same opportunities, to improve and get better while they are at UConn, whether it be for 1 year or all 4 or 5 years, however long it may be. So I think that's really what's important to Gino.
All right, Ryan. I guess congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, there, I said it for you. Not only that, what do you want to do? I'll leave it up to you. You want to do knockout comments, or do you want to talk about this game coming up on Wednesday?
Yeah, I can talk about Xavier for a little
Okay.
bit, but as always, the new AP poll dropped on Monday, so give a
All
little
right.
update about that. Can't believe we played 15 weeks of basketball already. Kind of hard to believe, but since week 2, of course, South Carolina has been on top, and they continue that run. This week, Ohio State and Stanford moved up to 2 and 3. Iowa
Mhm.
dropping down to 4 after their upset loss. NC State and Colorado also moving down after losing. And of course, UConn drops down to number 15, which is tied for their second lowest ranking of the season. And of course, the game on Wednesday night at 7 between the 1 and 20 Xavier Musketeers at the bottom of the
Mm.
Big East. It's to say the least, it's been a pretty difficult season for Xavier so far this season. Obviously, they've definitely had better seasons in the past. It is an away game for UConn, but not sure that that's going to matter too much. I don't really have too much to say about the game, but I don't I don't really think it's going to be too awful close. Don't really think anybody's expecting it to be close, but hopefully we can see UConn improve on offense a little bit, maybe score 90 or so points to get their confidence level up. Hopefully everybody continues to shoot the ball, and hopefully we see a lot more shots go in on Wednesday night.
Yeah, Ryan, this is a game that actually a team rather Xavier that has not these women have not won a game. I look back, it has been since December 15th. All right, that was their lone win of the season, December 15th. And they're led by I guess the graduate student according to this roster here, 6'2" graduate student out of Louisville, Kentucky, and that's Nyla Blackford. So yeah, really, really struggling nowadays in Xavier women's basketball. Let's go over to some comments, Ryan. I say just throw a score out there. I say what 90 to I don't know, Ryan. 90. I'm going like 90 to 60. I'll say that 90-60 UConn.
Yeah, I probably have a bigger blowout than that. I'll go 93-44. I'll say that score.
All right. How about Jason D'Amico? He checked in with us. Actually, I'm sorry. Let's go over to uh Lazy Defon. Hey, Phil and Ryan. Nice job on your live broadcast. It was definitely different. Well, we appreciate it. You may want to check out this out sometime. You are allowed to use some snippets of a broadcast with your own commentary, but it can't be during a live broadcast, only after the game. I believe you could have called the play by play. Not sure if you feel comfortable with that or if you're experienced enough to memorize all the jersey numbers from both teams. By the way, there were no comments on your live broadcast. Not sure why. South Carolina made how our Huskies look like high school kids. If they get lucky, they'll face them again in the Final Four and wake up. Love your show. Keep up the good work. Well, I mean, plenty of people came through, Ryan, on the live stream, but I guess she means, I mean, the comments are on the game recap, and that's actually the way we want it.
Yeah, well, I think also as well, obviously you can view the live stream after, but I think if you scroll to the video at the comments, scroll and you can see
Okay.
the comments come in after you watch as you're watching the live stream, even though it's obviously not still live. But yeah, definitely appreciate all the people that came through. Yeah, I mean, obviously tough game for UConn yesterday. Pretty much got dominated by South Carolina the whole way through. But there's still some time to improve, obviously, and hopefully we can get there starting for this game against Xavier. But Yeah, I think for sure, definitely with the live stream, we can definitely improve it. Kind of a little test run yesterday, first time doing it, but I think there's some things we can do. Hopefully, we can somehow get the video or the game in the background and commentate on it. So we'll have to figure out some things and improve on it next time.
Here he is, the legend, Jason D'Amico. If you ever wanted a use case of just how important Dorka Juhas was to this team, this game was it. That's a good point, Ryan. UConn is a much better team today than they were at the beginning of the season. Expecting them to beat a team like South Carolina at this stage is a tall task. UConn should be proud of how they are coming along in their situation. Sorry I missed the live stream. Really upset about that. Peace. P.S. Check your email, name the game, and I'll be available.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you at least coming through to the end. We know we always appreciate it. And yeah, we'll for sure get back to you on what game you can come on for. But yeah, I mean, I think UConn, obviously, ever since they put Ashland and KK in the starting lineup, they definitely improved a lot. But unfortunately, the situation remains the same about UConn not being able to beat these top 10, top 15 teams in the country. So keep talking about, March Madness. We're eventually going to see one of those top tier teams. So hopefully we can get something turned around so we can at least keep those games competitive and hopefully build a little bit of momentum here, finishing the season with the Big East teams and going into the Big East tournament.
And a reality check for you, Ryan. You know what we are going to see for sure? Well, the good Lord willing, we are going to see 24/25, right? And I want to leave off with this comment because this is kind of important. I think you know what I mean. The freshmen got a sense of the emotions related to playing a big time national game in a super hostile atmosphere. Let's remember, like I said, the good Lord willing, this is not it for Ryan and I in 23 and 24. I mean, Ryan, we have some years coming under our belt.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's exciting about the future because obviously all four of these freshmen going to have a lot more experience. I think they'll be even more confident than what they already are. So I think there's a lot to look forward to for the future.
Yeah, and I wanted to shout out. It was my fault. The UConn recruiting class, Allie Zabel. Because I know
Yeah.
I was joking with you during the live stream, and I said, Ryan, I think Morgan Shelley is tuning in, right? Morgan Shelley, and you got to laugh out of that. And I was like, we went off the live stream and the game recap, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot Allie Zabel. So shout out to Allie. We can't wait for both of them, Morgan Shelley and Allie Zabel, to arrive at UConn. Anybody else from that class? I don't think it's anybody else from that class. It was only two, 2024.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody else has committed, but I know obviously, we were talking about Sarah Strong being at that game yesterday. So, not
Yeah.
the result UConn wanted, but maybe it didn't affect her result, and maybe she'll come to UConn either way. But we'll have to see.
All right, back to work in our books, right, Ryan? Doing more research, and we will see each other again on Wednesday for the game recap right here on Listen Up.